Hi, I'm Diamond Duggal. I'm a music producer. I have a band, Swami, and I'm currently mixing and recording the new album. So I'm going to give a bit of an insight into how I'm going about actually doing the recording and the mixing of this. So while making the new Swami album, what I've decided to do is to make two different versions, because we actually have two different fan bases. One which is predominantly Indian, Hindi, Punjabi speaking, and also much more recently more of an English fan base. So I'm making an English lyrical version and an Indian lyrical version of the new Swami album. When I'm recording vocals, I prefer to have the vocalist in the room with me. I used to put the vocalist in a separate booth, but I just don't feel that one-to-one connection. And I think recording vocals is more about making the vocalist feel comfortable, and the whole psychology of just getting the best performance and feeling like you're working on the vocals together by being in the room together. So I tend to sit there in front of my Pro Tools system, have the vocalist in the corner of the room with a couple of bass traps up and obviously stopping reflections in the corner that they're standing in. I use a tube mic, preferably one similar to a U47, a Neumann U47, and I will just record with the vocalist, both of us wearing headphones, through a preamp, a dedicated mic preamp, a vintage sounding one preferably, something similar to an old Neve preamp, and no compression. I don't record my vocals with any compression. I think when you have the right combination of microphone and microphone preamp to record a vocalist, then you don't tend to have to rely on compression in order to keep their vocals under control. I'm going to show you how I comp my vocals and how I apply EQ and compression to the vocal. So let's have a listen to the vocal first of all. You can see it's made up of various different takes where the edit marks are. I can see a part there that looks like it's got a glitch on it. If you look here, let's have a listen to that carefully by zooming in. Well, it looks like the transition isn't proper, so what we're going to do is pull that across a little bit, try and get them to join up where the waveforms are kind of looking the same on both sides, because these vocal takes were taken at separate times. There were different takes, and let's make a crossfade between the two so there's more of a smooth transition, so it sounds like one take. Let's have a listen to that. Sounds a bit better. Let's try and move it back a little bit more. That's better. Let's just put some EQ on this vocal now. Well, I've gone to the SSL EQ here on this vocal, and as you can see, the first thing I would do is take away all the low frequencies. Everything below about 150 Hertz on the lead vocal can be taken out, because there's nothing down there in the vocal range you would want to hear in a pop song. And maybe put a little bit of 10K to give it a bit of sparkle. There we go. Just got to be very careful not to bring in too much top end so the vocal gets a bit sibilant and essy. Okay, that's sounding good. And let's try putting a compressor on there as well. Let's go for our compressor, one of my favourites. What I tend to do here is I will overdo the compression in order to see that the compression is having the right effect on the kind of vocal I'm working with. So I'll bring the threshold right down. I'll extremely pull the ratio. Adjust the attack and the release. So there's the release time is coming back quick enough on the kind of vocal I'm working with, and then lessen the threshold to the point where I want to hear it. I'm always very careful not to get too much pumping of the vocal, so it's dipping too much. It kind of squashes the vocal too much and makes it sound a bit unnatural. Okay, something like that. Maybe a slightly slower attack to let the beginnings of the words come through without being affected. And there we go. If you are recording at home and you're using a certain kind of microphone that may distort easily, or you may get some overload on tracks while you're trying to record, I think mic technique is very important. If the vocalist is going to sing quieter, then to come close to the mic. If he is going to hit a really high note, then he's just got to move away from the microphone and sing a little bit more up into the air. The best way I like to teach a vocalist to have good microphone technique is to tell them, when you sing into the microphone, imagine you're singing into somebody's ear. And you're never going to shout into somebody's ear. If you're going to sing something loud, you're going to move away like that. So it's really important to have good mic technique. It doesn't matter what microphone you're using. So I hope you found it useful, the way I like to go about recording vocals. Just remember to experiment with the position of the microphone in your room and to make the vocalist feel comfortable.